In this video I'll show you the simple, easy way to treat your trigger points. Now if you've got painful trigger points, your usual options are needles, lasers, or some form of pressure technique where you have pressure applied until it fades. Now let's look at needles and lasers first. Now you'll need a professional to do them, you need a heap of treatments, and if you have the trigger points for long enough you'll understand that the pain usually comes back again. Now looking at pressure techniques, you can have a professional therapist do it, or there are any number of YouTube gurus who will show you how to do it yourself, often with a ball or a roller. Now when a professional does it, it's at least as effective as needles and lasers, but it can hurt like hell and the pain still eventually comes back. Now what I'll do now is just show you a much better alternative. Now I'll demonstrate on my forearm so it's easy to see. Now first we find a trigger point. Then we sit a vibration massager on for about 30 seconds while the therapeutic vibrations penetrate and dissolve the trigger points. That's much better. Now as you can see, it's extremely easy and there's usually no pain. Now better still, it's at least effective as any of the other therapies, if not more so. Now if you're interested in what works so well, I'll pop a link at the top. Now I mentioned before that after other therapies the pain nearly always comes back. Now the reason for that as the therapies usually just quieten down the trigger points so they stop hurting, but they're still there so they eventually start hurting again. Now what you need to do is just keep at them after the pain stops so they continue to fade away. Now the trouble is you're not going to do that with needles and lasers because it costs a fortune and it's been a big part of your life in the therapist's office. And inflicting pain on yourself with balls and rollers is going to get old very quickly too. However, it's so convenient and easy to do this. Now that's why this is probably the only way most people can ever hope to get rid of their trigger points and trigger point pain. Now with that in mind, let's look at the nuts and bolts on how to use them. Now first you'll need to find the trigger points. Now the way to do this is examine your muscles for tender lumps or shoot pain when you're pressing them. Now start with the flats of your fingers and do a general examination looking for tightness and tenderness. Then if you find a suspicious part, use the tips of your fingers to examine more deeply. Now one thing about trigger points is that they usually shoot pain away from where they are, so how do you know where to look? Now I've got articles on a heap of conditions that show where the common trigger points are. There are also charts that show how to find them, but the best thing you can do is have a professional show you. Now just say you've got neck pain. Now that can be complex with things other than trigger points involved. So what you do is you see a proper professional who deals in that sort of thing, such as a chiropractor, osteopath, or a properly qualified therapist. Now while you're there, you say, look, I've got this vibration massager and I'd like to do some extra trigger point therapy at home. Can you show me how to use it and make sure I'm doing it properly? Now, let me show you how to use one of these. Now, there's some simple hints and precautions you can find in the instruction sections on our website, but as I said, all you need to do is sit the machine over the trigger point and let the therapeutic vibrations penetrate. Now you don't need to press in or move the machine around. Now in fact that would be counterproductive. Now that said, there's a marketing gimmick called percussion massages that are designed to drive the heads in rather than send in vibrations. Now their advocates say that it makes them penetrate better. But if you understand anything about physics, you'll realise that this is total BS. Vibrations always penetrate much better than physical penetration. That's why an earthquake can vibrate the ground and buildings will fall over hundreds of kilometres away. Now while a percussion massager is trying to drive its head in like a jackhammer, a professional vibration massager will send vibrations right through you. Now, you'll have people with percussion massages, usually massage guns, showing you how to push the heads in and move the things around like conventional massage. Now, that's the way they work, but it's a lot less effective and makes it a lot more likely to hurt yourself. Now, because of this, it's pretty important you get the right sort of machine, so I'll link above to an article about that. Now, while on the subject of massage guns, the other really bad thing about them is that they haven't got a decent handle. Now, with the vibration massage with a decent handle, you can easily reach and treat trigger points anywhere on your body, but not with a massage gun. So, now you know how to find the trigger points and that you just need to sit the massager on and let the vibrations penetrate. How long should you do it for and how often? Now, I don't know your individual circumstances, so this can only be general advice to discuss with a professional familiar with your own needs. But in general, 30 seconds works well for most trigger points, while really nasty deep ones, say in your backside, might need a minute. Now you might start with daily applications, then once they've settled down, maybe weekly or even monthly, just to keep them at bay. Now this therapy works amazingly well, but you will need a decent professional strength massager, and they're not that common though. Now most of the massagers on the market are either ineffective consumer massagers, massage guns, or both. Now that's why a while back, to get something decent for our patients, we built our own. Now I'll quickly show them to you, and I'll put a link above on how to get one. Now this is our general purpose massager. We've had them for over a decade. They're widely used by professionals across a number of countries, and they're very solid and reliable. The business end delivers strong therapeutic vibrations, and they have an ergonomically designed handle so you can easily use them anywhere on your body. Now they'll do a fantastic job, but they're limited to what's under the head. So a while ago we built our quad massager. Now it has all the benefits of the general purpose massager, but it can treat multiple trigger points at once. Now the other thing we found is that because this is much larger and flatter than the single head machine, it'll fit nicely behind you or underneath you if you want to use it like a chair or cushion massager. Now if you do that though, just make sure that you have about the same pressure on the machine that you would using it normally. Now, this has been a general how-to on trigger points. What I'd recommend you do now is check out our website for articles on the specific trigger points for conditions such as headaches, back pain, shoulder pain, tennis elbow, and so forth. Now if you have any questions or comments, please email or leave them in the comments. Hey, thanks very much for watching. It has been most appreciated.